Hello, everyone, and welcome to this part of our series, Taking Control. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Michele Dionne, and I am your host for this series. We are in trying times right now, where quite often we feel anxious and depressed and so many things going on internally because we feel like we live in this world where we don't have control, because there's so many things that are going on that it's so easy to get sucked into, whether it's on TV or on social media, where we feel lost and tired and exhausted and a big string of emotions that goes with that. So I decided to put this series together on a variety of topics to help you empower yourself. And there are so many ways that we can empower our life, whether it be how we think, the activities we do, just the things that are in our surroundings are so powerful to make us feel good and to make us feel like there are things that we can control. And it's an interesting situation that we're in right now because, you know, being that we are dealing with the coronavirus, it is all associated with, you know, our immune system and how we feel. And I mean, let's be honest, at some point, we're going to have to start going out more. And we want to make sure that we have our immune system in check, and we have, you know, built ourselves up internally to deal with the things that are external. So I'm very thrilled today to have a special guest, and it is Chef Paresh. And you may know him throughout our local community here in Sarnia, Ontario. If you don't, you're going to know him after this. But he is very loved and adored and appreciated in this community. And so I'm very pleased to introduce you to him now. So Chef Paresh, welcome to my series here. If you'd like to introduce yourself, yes.
Yes, so my name is Chef Paresh, chef and owner of Personal Touch Eatery and Catering here in Sarnia. We're located at 144 Minton Street South. Currently, we are temporarily closed due to the coronavirus. Unfortunately, with having a small staff and the kind of small space that we have, just felt it was too of a high risk to kind of keep operating the way we are. And, you know, the chance that one employee tests positive and then, you know, we have a small staff, if they have to be off for 14 days, then kind of compromises our ability to prepare and prepare the meals and get them delivered. So
that's awesome. And it totally makes sense. And that's the thing. Every single business needs to make that decision on a personal level as to how you can provide the best service to other people while looking after yourself and your staff as well. So I was hoping today we could talk a little bit about, you know, really the illusion of eating healthy is expensive. And I know there's some truth to it, but part of it is, you know, having the knowledge. Like, I've noticed that you're making these awesome videos on your Facebook page. I encourage everybody to like his Facebook page. So you're doing these awesome videos that are talking about prepping different foods and how to make things, you know, take one item. Like I was watching one today and you're cutting something up and you could put it in like stews and different things. So I wanted to talk about the health benefits of eating healthy, but also how you can shop local and make things last so you're getting the most bang for your buck.
yeah, I think the big thing is with when you're shopping local, you know, choosing providers that we have around. Like now, the farmers market still is operational. They're great. There's lots of local providers, and there's also Sarnia Produce, which is again great produce, and they're doing contact-free pickups and lots of different options that way. So, and then even a lot of the grocery stores do have good produce. Now, with any of the produce and stuff like that, things that are in season are going to be cheaper. So that's, you know, there's the benefit there is the things that are going to be better tasting during that time of the year are going to be seasonal, and those things are going to be cheaper because they're in season, they're abundant. So a lot of times it's buying by season, but picking and choosing things that may last long, you know, during this time, you're looking at things that, you know, that have a long shelf life, because, you know, if you're looking at asparagus or something like that, you know, your shelf life is only a couple of days. You know, you're kind of pick and choose, and you don't want to make too many trips, but you want to still have the availability of nice fresh produce. So sometimes we're looking at the options of getting like things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash, beets, like a lot of your root vegetables are things that can stay for, you know, a month, 2 months, they're great. You know, they can stay if you have a cold cellar or something like that. Really cool, dry storage, dark place, and a lot of those vegetables can stay in those areas for a long period of time, and they can be used in multiple ways. That's the advantage of having things like those. Now, I mean, to get the fresh veggies, sometimes the options are the frozen ones are actually still good. Like picked at the prime time, they're flash frozen, and then they're packaged so that way you have, you know, there's no additives to frozen vegetables. They are just exactly what they are. So, you know, whether it be broccoli or Brussels sprouts or something like that, they're picked in season, fresh, ready to go, and you can use those at any time, and they're kind of quick to have on hand. So you're not like reaching for potato chips or something like that as a quick option, or, you know, sides instead of having, you know, French fries. You know, now you can have like roast potatoes or make them yourself, because, you know, if you get a bag of, like, say, McCain frozen fries, they're probably what, $2-3. For $3, you can get a 5-pound bag of potatoes, and that can last for so many more meals than that one bag of frozen fries.
Right. So that makes sense. Right. So a lot of that is just changing the way you think then, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. It's just kind of mindset too, and just perception of what's, like, again, pricing too. Like, you know, look at a lot of times, sometimes even the prepared vegetables that you can find in the store, the salad kits and stuff like that. Yes, they're great, they're convenient and stuff like that. But at the same time, look at those ingredients in that small package. A lot of times you can get the value of all those items by just buying a small bag of carrots, a small bag of lettuce, and you can probably make 10 of those kits yourself. And, you know, to have those on hand, prep those in one day, you know, make those kits on your own, put them in like little Ziploc bags, or, you know, whatever kind of homemade bags that you may have at home, to kind of keep those veggies fresh. And doing that on your own, you can make, say, a head of cabbage go a long way. Like a bag of prepared coleslaw is probably $2. A head of cabbage is $1.50, depending on where you go, and depends on the time of the year. But, you know, a lot of those things you can extend and then make your own versions. Yes, you know, it takes a little bit more prep and knife skills and preparation, but the more you practice that, the better you're going to get. And I think that's where what I've been trying to do is, in terms of the Instagram and Facebook, is share those videos of quick tips of how to prep some of those common vegetables. Like, so far I've done, you know, garlic, we've done beets, we've done an onion, we've done a butternut squash. So a lot of those different things, and I'm hoping to share some recipes as well. And but I do offer cooking classes now. Obviously, those have been postponed at this time, but those are offered through the Strangway Center and the Cheese Wedge. So there's always opportunities that I present to learn, and maybe even the opportunity to offer some online ones upcoming. So
That's awesome. And you're right. Now that some of us, or most of us, have all this spare time, what a great time to start, you know, pulling out my WW members. We've been talking about, get grandma's recipes out, get those cooking books that we bought, that, remember, we only like that one recipe. Time
yep.
to look at the other recipes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the biggest thing, like I think you mentioned there, is grandma's recipes, because I mean, a lot of times those recipes, they didn't have a lot of these prepared foods. They didn't have processed foods available. Their recipes are using, like, you know, 8 ingredients, or even 4 or 5 ingredients, and then adding salt and pepper and maybe some spices. And that's a lot of your healthy eating and immunity boosters come from spices. So, I mean, you can use simple ingredients and change them with a lot of spices. I mean, you're like, a lot of the soups I make are very simple soups. You know, I have onions, maybe garlic and ginger, depending on what type of soup I'm making. And then kind of your base. What, you know, I just made a beet and butternut squash one. So, you know, beets, butternut squash, a little bit of potatoes, onions, and ginger. But then the spices can take it a different way. And then also the liquid. You know, do you add just water? Do you add a can of tomato juice? Do you add a can of coconut milk? Those are kind of things that you can modify to really change a simple recipe, but taking it a different way with just stuff you have on hand.
Right, right. And I think people should not be scared to Google alternatives too, right? Because if you're lacking just one ingredient, you're not going to run to the store.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, you don't want to make these extra trips right now, but, you know, changing up your spices. And a lot of times it can be intimidating, because there's a lot of spices out there, and, you know, what spices to use with what. And, you know, if you go online, you can find a good variety of sources of information that say, okay, this spice works well with this, or, look up a basic, okay, I like Indian food. Okay, let me see what a basic curry spices are, rather than just using that basic curry powder. Think about what are those spices that go in there and see if you have those on hand and use those. And the best part about that is you can customize it to taste what you like, add a little bit of each, try it, and then you can try each of those spices and see what they taste like on their own. And then even the herbs like thyme, sage, rosemary, do you like one more than the other? The more you try it as you're cooking, as you go along, just try adding one spice at a time. Okay, and then what does that taste like? Do you like that? Or, take a little bit out, add sage, and just kind of experiment that way by tasting and seeing, and how does it compare with what you added before? And I think that way you can really gain a taste and see what you like. Everybody's tastes are going to be different. So you may like more cumin than coriander in a curry. In Thai food, someone wants more chilies, than somebody else wants more salty, like fish sauce and soy sauce. So it depends on what kind of taste you're looking for, that you can really customize it to what you like, rather than relying on a package of seasoning, which also has a lot of additives. But this way you can control your own additions of salt and pepper, and control your own additions of the spice levels and stuff like that. So
yeah, and keep notes, right?
yeah, oh, absolutely,
write down or get a Post-it and
yeah.
put it right on there.
Yeah, and most phones now are so good that you can just go into like a little notes section and voice it. Just say, hey, I like cumin, or I like coriander, add a tablespoon more next time, and at least that way you can kind of really just start a list and create a note section of all spices or all herbs, or, flavors that you like, or do you like heat, or, is there a specific cuisine that when you've gone out to restaurants that you really like? Okay, look into that cuisine. What is it about it that you like? Is there certain ingredients that they use, whether it be like garlic, ginger, lemongrass, a lot of these natural spices that contribute to those flavors. And that's a lot of times you'll find what you like is, okay, maybe I like Thai food. Okay, well, they use these few ingredients all the time. Okay, make sure I have those on hand, so that way whenever I want to cook, I can use those ingredients to kind of make it work for me.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then so when you purchase these, quite often people will overthink like the pricing and that it's only for like one recipe. But if you find that you like it, they actually last quite a long time, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the thing is, if you like those tastes and those flavors, you're going to find you're going to use it more if you have it on hand. You never thought to use it or keep it on hand because you're like, oh, I won't use it. But if those are the flavors you like, why wouldn't you keep it on hand and cook with it more often? Find different ways to incorporate it into different flavors. For example, one of the things I love at a Japanese restaurant is miso soup. And, but miso paste you can buy as a paste. Now, miso paste you can use in like a regular gravy. Adds a ton of flavor. It's just that hidden ingredient that people don't think about, but it adds that little bit of extra something. And, those are kind of things that you can extend and use in different areas where you may not use them before. But it substitutes for salt, for example, because it already has a salty base. And I don't have to add salt, but I'll add that. But it adds an element of flavor or something like that. Things you may have in your cupboard, like simple ones, but like Worcestershire sauce or, things that are very simple. There's not too many ingredients in them, but they can lend a ton of flavor and change something very simply just with the addition of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, because the last thing we want people to do is get bored with their food.
Yeah, and I mean, chicken breasts alone, I mean, you can come up with 365 days a year. You could have that same chicken breast and it can be different every single time, just by changing the spices, whether you go dry spices, whether you go like more of a marinade with a little bit of olive oil, or coconut oil or anything like that, ghee. There's lots of good like healthy fats that you can use in terms of substituting that way. And then even like a basic vinaigrette, like making your own vinaigrettes for salads or something like that, and use those as marinades. If you don't use it up all for a salad, put that on your chicken. That's going to marinate your chicken and then cook it that way. So there's lots of different ways to kind of play around with some of these ingredients and flavors and really introduce yourself to different, like I said, you can cook the same meal almost every day and still have something new to taste and flavor and enjoy.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. And I hope after all this is over that some people stick to these new habits, because as well as I do, we even if you think you don't eat out a lot, we really do. And monetarily and for your body, there's so many advantages for eating at home. and stretching that out. So there's benefits to eating the most whole food as possible. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And, the thing is, the nice part is you can extend it and turn it into different things, get a roast and cook it. And, maybe you'll go to the farmer's market, or Davy Jones, these butchers are great in town, get a larger roast than you might need for one portion, but extend it. Okay, now you've cooked a roast, you can slice it and serve that as a one dinner, and then cut the rest up, put it into a stew for the next dinner, or slice it, put it in with eggs for breakfast. There's lots of different options, and using those, using things in multiple ways. Even like if you, instead of getting just a chicken breast, get a whole chicken, make a soup with your bones and your legs, and then eat the chicken breast as your whole. Simmer the legs and the carcass as part of a soup, make a broth, and then you can use some of that meat back in there as well. So there's more ways to take. Yes, you have to learn how to break those down, and butcher can break a lot of that down too. Just say I'd like a whole chicken, and ask them to break it down to certain pieces. Okay, I want 2 breasts, and then the rest can be kind of cut up into pieces because you're going to put it in the soup anyway. So it's a nice way to kind of make multiple meals out of one kind of purchase, and that can really extend a lot. Because the thing about something like that, a chicken, and then your multiple ingredients, you've got 2 breasts. The multiple, say the soup that you make with a few vegetables and added spices, that might cost you $10, $15. Whereas, you can know better than anybody else. You go out to eat at a fast food restaurant, for example, which I don't do much, and we try to avoid that in general, but $15 doesn't get you very far anymore.
No, it doesn't. It's not fast anymore, and it's not cheap anymore, like the commercials used to say years ago.
Yeah, and the food itself is not, there's no benefits to you, right? It's not going to boost your immunity. It's not giving you any health benefits. It's not going to make you feel good. I can generally, anytime you eat fast food, I can tell you you're feeling lackadaisical, you're feeling really rough after. What's the reason? Because there's no nutritional benefits to a lot of it. So, when you eat healthy and eat those like homemade foods, you can tell you feel better. It makes you feel good inside and gives you more energy, because what you're eating and what you put into yourself, definitely it comes out as well.
Absolutely, because food is medicine, isn't it? When you look all through history, before they had like big pharma, that's what they did. They went and they got the special mushrooms and did all this stuff. Absolutely.
Spices, all those things can make you feel different. It depends on how you're feeling. Okay, if you're feeling a little bit of tingle in your throat, have some more ginger, have some more garlic. Those things are great for coughs and colds, right? Like, so look at those, and those are great additions to like soups or sauces or anything like that. And they can change your flavors quickly, but also be beneficial health-wise. So it's a great kind of a double way to do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for getting together with me today. I really appreciate it. And we will look forward to what is coming up for your business in the future and those cooking classes. I'm super excited that you mentioned that.
Thank you.
I do definitely recommend that everybody goes to your Facebook page and likes it and follow the recipes. And you have an actual website as well?
Yeah, so it's personaltoucheatery.ca.
Okay.
And then you can link to from there, you can find the Facebook page, you can find the Instagram page. I have all the links through there. That's where I post all my updates in terms of my daily specials when we are open at the eatery as well. And we do sell some, once we get back to it as well, we do have a retail outlet downtown at Riverbank & Co., which is the shared space. And we do sell frozen meals and prepared meals and stuff like that. But again, they're all homemade things that we use like proper ingredients. And we do sell like smaller meals that are for 2 or for 6 or family size, depends on the size of the group. But they're all meals that we prepare on our own and that we prepare in our kitchen, freeze, and then serve that way as well.
That's so awesome. I had no idea. That's very good. I'm going to have to make sure once you get going, I share that on my Sonia Rocks page for you as well. So I'm sort of going to throw you a curveball here for a second.
Okay.
So as I was looking at your stuff, I noticed that you do yoga.
Yes.
So
that's my wife is a yoga instructor.
Okay, awesome. So is that what you're doing to help you sort of deal with stress? And I was just curious how that's going for you.
Yeah, I mean, in these times, everything's, can be a burden on you mentally and physically. So, keeping yourself active, whether it be going out for walks or yoga and stuff like that. And then also clarity and clearing your mind. And, mental health is such an important part of all of our lives right now. And I mean, I think it's even more challenging when you're at home and you may not be working, or, you're with your family on a regular basis, or one person's working, and it's stressful because you don't know what they're exposing themselves to. So I think being able to have that time to yourself and really clear your head and thought process, I think it's definitely beneficial.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. So I did notice that, and I shared it, that it was on your page. Myself, I've never done yoga, but I meditate quite regularly, even more so in these times. So it's a similar activity, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So again, thank you so much for participating in this. I really appreciate it, and I wish you well, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for your business.
Thanks for having me, Michelle. Appreciate that.
Yes, you're very welcome. Have a
Thanks.
great day.
You
Thank
too.
you.